The medevac helicopter was busy tonight, airlifting traffic accident victims to shock trauma. In Cockeysville, a motorcycle collided with a car at Bedonia and Cranbrook, seriously injuring the motorcycle's driver. He was flown out. The passenger on the motorcycle at first refused treatment, then finally consented when he found out his leg was broken and he couldn't walk. Baltimore County Police say they believe both had been drinking and crashed into the car as it was making a turn into an apartment complex. Minutes before that accident, a pedestrian was hit by a car as she attempted to cross Harford Road just north of the city line. 37-year-old Linda Lizer was also flown to shock trauma. An eyewitness said she couldn't believe what she was seeing.
And we saw two people just seemed like coming from nowhere. Attempt to cross the street. I couldn't believe they were going to even try it. Traffic was very heavy. The girl ran out in front of one car, dodged it, and then ran in front of the white car that hit her.
Linda Lizer's condition is critical. Not an hour later, a car careened out of control on the 2700 block of St. Paul Street in the city, struck several other cars, and sent one person to Union Memorial Hospital with undetermined injuries. Brad Ganson reporting for Nightside.
If you'd like a crash course on Fiji, I'd highly recommend a couple of places to painlessly absorb the island's culture. The first is here at the Cultural Center at Pacific Harbor. In a thatched canoe poled by a warrior, you'll tour a replica of a Fijian village of 3,000 years ago. This living history experience will give you a close-up look at the daily activities of the ancient Fijians. At the center 4 times a week, you can also take in a performance by the Dance Theater of Fiji. Twice a week, the day's events here close with a ceremonial firewalking show. Tickets to each event are $6 for adults, $3 for children. Combination tickets for any 2 of the attractions are available for just a few dollars more. Just as much fun, however, is Orchid Island, where you can learn all about the island's tropical plants. And it's here that hands-on experience takes on a new meaning. This will be your opportunity to hold an iguana.
Lynn Haley would like you to hold her.
And get close to a bat. A ticket to all this will cost $8.50 per adult, $4.25 per child. Tomorrow, special air hotel packages to Fiji for under $1,000. In the Fiji Islands, I'm Lynn Sittler.
Is everybody older than 18?
Carl, I'll see you when I get back, man.
Right on after what you say.
What's that? Ain't got me with nothing, man. Ain't got me with nothing.
Okay. Moving over. Step on up.
Hey, hey, Phil, find out Sandy Hard.
Although interest rates have dropped dramatically from their peaks, what you pay on mortgage loans, credit cards, and installment loans for cars and appliances is still expensive. In fact, the IRS's statistics show that interest deductions account for the single largest deduction on most people's tax returns. Because it's still expensive to borrow money, and because the tax law lets you deduct your interest payments, you should make sure that you take every single dollar you have coming your way. One tax trap that many taxpayers fall into is not taking a large enough deduction. Many lenders use a method of charging interest called the rule of 78ths on personal and car loans. Check your loan documents to see how your interest is computed. If it's the rule of 78ths, make sure you deduct the lion's share of your interest in the early part of your loan, not equally for each month of the loan. If you have a payment due December 20th, for example, but because of the holiday mail and vacations, it didn't reach the lender until after the first of the year, the interest is still deductible on your 1983 return. After all, that's the year you paid it, and you have your canceled check as proof. Take a look at your January credit card statements. Often, they'll total your previous year's interest payments. If they don't, you'll have to go back through all your monthly statements and add up what you paid in tax-deductible interest. You have your credit cards like Visa and MasterCard, Sears, Pennies, Exxon, and Mobil too. Remember, they all add up. This is Paul Strassels reporting.
At 10 this morning, 91 Baltimore City police officers began knocking on doors and in some cases knocking down doors in 3 of the Murphy Homes high-rises in West Baltimore. By noon, officers were still rounding up suspects. Today's raid is a result of a 2-month investigation, an investigation prompted by complaints of open drug trafficking that came from the city housing department and residents.
The main drug that was down here was cocaine and heroin, and it was like a supermarket type where everybody would bring their drugs down into the building and then go out in the courtyard and sell them. We had information that they were coming from all over the city to come down here to buy the cocaine because it was such good cocaine and it was a cheaper price for it.
Police also seized an assortment of drugs and weapons.
Drugs seized include heroin, cocaine, marijuana, and assorted pills. Police also found drug paraphernalia. The bust netted 3 handguns, 2 rifles, and 2 sawed-off shotguns. Police estimate this drug operation took in about $2,000 a day, or $750,000 a year. Those arrested face a variety of charges, including drug possession, conspiracy to distribute drugs, and weapons violations. More arrests are expected. City police are still searching for at least a half-dozen more suspects. Joyce Jefferson, News Scene 2.
Janet Palmer found her young son could not play in a nearby park last summer because of broken liquor bottles left by teenagers. She tried on her own to get something done, but nothing happened. So she came to the Govans Mayor Station, and they got the problem solved.
The police worked with us in terms of patrolling the parks at night. Parks and Recreation set up a regulated schedule that they would come and clean up the parks.
I think you need community pressure. And also, we are supposed to have a certain amount of clout. We can cut through things.
William Brunner was kicked out of school after he was robbed and beaten up and stopped going. His father got help from City Councilman Mimi DePietro. Why him?
Or we went up on North Avenue and Charles Street, and they gave me a runaround. I've been up to the principal's office. They gave me a runaround. We went to Paris, and they did the same thing.
Right, you get in touch with him tomorrow? Thank you, boss. Right. All right, get your board ready to go to school tomorrow.
More than 30,000 people work in or near City Hall. If you need something done, try the mayor station or your city council member.
If people had to call those people, they'd have to go through a long maze. They call me direct for a thing like that. I know exactly who to call.
And even if you know who to call to get an alley clean, for example, a city councilman has more clout.
Only I can give them hell where constituents can't. That's the difference. Because they got to put up with me doing the budget.
But not even council members can always get things done.
Let's say that your house is flooded by sewer water and you have a lot of your property destroyed. You're told to file a claim with the law offices for damages. My experience in the city council was that if you ever got a letter back or a phone call, it was a miracle, and it was a year.
And even Du Burns tried for years to get a tree cut down near a neighbor's home.
How did you finally get that particular tree chopped down?
She moved.
Oh, the tree's still there?
Yeah, the tree's there. She moved.
The two requests heard most often at City Hall are for low-cost housing and for jobs. But in these tight budget times, those are two requests City Hall can almost never grant.
Kevin Brown, News Scene 2, City Hall.